Chosen one, as this message comes to a close, allow these final words to settle into the deepest parts of your spirit. You are not standing at the end of something, you are standing at the threshold of everything heaven has been preparing you for. This moment is sacred, this moment is intentional. This moment is your Kairos moment, the divinely appointed time when remembrance becomes revelation and revelation becomes movement. You are not here by chance, you are here because heaven summoned you. Anointed one, hear this clearly, the transfer has already begun. The shift you have been feeling in your spirit, the strange pressure in your atmosphere, the quiet clarity rising within you, these are signs that heaven is aligning your path with what was written about you before time shaped itself. You are stepping into a season of divine acceleration. What was withheld is being released. What was delayed is being restored. What was hidden is being unveiled. Heaven is placing into your hands what belongs to your assignment, your lineage and your destiny. Walk forward now knowing you are not the same person who pressed play on this message. Something ancient within you has awakened. The veil has thinned. The remembrance has returned. You survived battles that were meant to silence you because heaven protected you for the moment you would finally rise into your name. Every scar became preparation. Every tear became seed. Every quiet season became training. And now, chosen one, you are ready. Move with reverence, move with intention, move with the awareness that God Himself has gone before you. Your steps are ordered, your path is guided, and your spirit is being strengthened with a fire that will not go out. Hold this awakening close. Guard it, nurture it, let it grow. Your assignment requires clarity, and heaven is giving you everything needed to walk fully into what is coming. Chosen one, you were foreseen by Enoch. You were sealed by God, and now you are being released into a world that desperately needs the light you carry. The unveiling is complete. The anointing is active. The transfer is in motion. If your spirit felt the truth of this message, share your witness in the comments. If you desire to stay aligned with what heaven is releasing, you may subscribe not out of ritual but out of spiritual connection. Go now, anointed one, with stillness in your soul and fire in your step. Your time has begun. Heaven has been drawing you into position because something meant for you, something carrying your name, is now leaving the unseen realm and preparing to manifest in the seen. And let me tell you, as someone who has walked through seasons of silence, seasons of confusion, seasons where nothing made sense, I recognize this feeling. There were moments in my own life when everything seemed still on the outside, but inside something was shifting, stretching, awakening. I didn't understand then that heaven often moves quietly before it moves loudly. I didn't know that divine transition often begins with a whisper before it becomes a storm of blessing, but I know now, and I can tell you with certainty, you are in that sacred beginning, chosen one. Heaven is saying stop, be still, pay attention, not because you are lost but because you are being recalibrated. You have been asking for clarity, but clarity doesn't always come in noise, it comes in stillness. You have been searching for signs, but the greatest sign is the word that refuses to leave your spirit. You have been wondering why a certain thought, a certain promise keeps resurfacing no matter how much time passes. It keeps returning because heaven isn't finished with it. That promise is alive, and hear this clearly. A divine transfer is in motion concerning your life. No, this is not hype. This is not emotional build-up. This is heaven's handwriting moving across the blueprint of your destiny. You are being positioned for spiritual promotion, for supernatural movement, and yes, for financial breakthrough that aligns with your assignment. There is a reason you have been feeling the pressure. There is a reason your heart has been stirring, like something inside you is trying to break loose. Transfers never happen without tension. Breakthroughs never arrive without spiritual contractions. Chosen one, God has been preparing you quietly. You thought heaven was silent. but in truth, heaven was building. Sometimes God hides His voice to strengthen your discernment. Sometimes He delays the manifestation to deepen your capacity. Sometimes the promise seems to pause because the promise is not waiting on God. It is waiting on you to reach the maturity required to carry it. I remember a season when everything seemed delayed in my own journey. Doors wouldn't open, opportunities fell apart, prayers felt unanswered. I questioned everything, my direction, my purpose, my ability to hear God. But later, looking back, I saw it clearly. God wasn't denying me. He was developing me. If He had handed me the blessing, then I wouldn't have known how to keep it. If He had answered my prayer early, I would have mishandled the very thing I was asking for. And maybe you can relate. Maybe you have been wondering why it has taken this long, why others moved ahead, why the promise hasn't materialized yet. Chosen one, hear this with your spirit. The delay was not denial, it was design. Heaven holds your blessings until your character can protect them. Heaven shapes your heart before releasing what your hands will hold. Heaven strengthens your foundation so the blessing doesn't collapse under the weight of your destiny. You are not behind. You are being prepared. And now look at you, wiser, steadier, spiritually sharper, more surrendered, more refined. You don't even respond the way you used to. You don't break the way you used to. You don't run the way you used to. That is not stagnation. That is transformation. Heaven has been maturing you in the background so you can receive what is now approaching in the foreground. Chosen one, this next season of your life carries divine weight. The heavens are aligning. The atmosphere is shifting. What once resisted you will soon recognize you. What once seemed blocked will begin to open for you effortlessly. Not because you have become lucky, but because you have become aligned. And hear this prophetic truth: what God is sending in your direction cannot be stolen, delayed, or diluted. It carries your name, your lineage, your assignment, your inheritance. Chosen one. Heaven is not simply speaking, heaven is moving, and in this movement lies the beginning of your divine transfer. Chosen one, now that your spirit has awakened to the sound of heaven's movement, I want you to lean in closer, because what is unfolding over your life is not small, not symbolic, and not accidental. This is divine timing, meeting divine intention. You are stepping into a supernatural shift that has been in preparation for far longer than you realize. The pressure you felt, the restlessness that has stirred inside you, the unanswered questions that kept rising in your soul, none of that happened randomly. All of it was pointing you toward this moment, this turning point, this prophetic intersection where heaven begins to release what has been reserved for the anointed one, chosen one. You are entering a season where what was lost, taken, hidden, or delayed will return, not in fragments but in fullness, and not in fullness, but in overflow. But hear this clearly: your restoration will not come by force or by striving. It will not come from manipulation, pushing, or exhausting effort. What is coming to you is coming because God Himself is initiating the transfer. No earthly hand can block it, no spiritual resistance can stop it, and no timeline can interfere with it. You have walked through long seasons where you felt like someone carrying a small lantern through a dark landscape. You could not see far ahead, yet somehow you just knew you needed to keep moving. What you didn't realize was that heaven was watching every hesitant step. Each time you continued, despite the uncertainty, you were sowing faith into the soil of your future. Every moment you whispered, "I trust you," through tears, heaven recorded it. Every time you refused to quit when quitting seemed easier, heaven acknowledged it. Nothing you endured went unnoticed. And if I may speak honestly, anointed one, I understand the weight you have carried. I know what it feels like to watch others progress while you remain in stillness. I know the ache of waiting for breakthrough while heaven seems silent. I know the sting of disappointment when doors close that you prayed would open. There was a time in my life when I wondered if God remembered me at all. But when the season shifted, I saw the truth. I was not being ignored. I was being preserved. I was not being overlooked. I was being shaped. The delay was not against me, it was for me. Chosen one, this same truth applies to you. God does not delay the chosen. He delays environments, relationships, and opportunities that are not suitable for them. Some doors closed because they would have compromised your calling. Some people left because they could not journey with the version of you that is now emerging. Some opportunities vanished because they were beneath the level of your future. Heaven has been protecting you in ways you never recognized. That is why your path has felt unfamiliar, lonely, and unpredictable at times. Because you were never meant to walk a common road, you carry an uncommon anointing. And an uncommon anointing requires an uncommon path. The longing you felt, the frustration you endured, the isolation you walked through, all of it was shaping the spiritual strength needed for this next season. And now, something inside you senses the shift. You feel the tension in the atmosphere, an awakening in your spirit, a quiet anticipation that doesn't match your circumstances. That is not anxiety, that is alignment. Heaven is drawing near. Heaven is preparing to move. Heaven is positioning you for what eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. You are approaching a divine intersection, a moment where God accelerates what has been slow, reveals what has been hidden, and transfers what has been stored up with your name written on it. But this next season is not just about receiving, it is about being recognized. Heaven is acknowledging the endurance you showed when no one clapped for you. Heaven is honoring the integrity you kept when compromise would have been easier. Heaven is elevating the humility you maintained during seasons where pride could have taken root. Heaven is responding to the purity of your prayers, the sincerity of your heart, and the quiet obedience you walked in even when it cost you something. And so movement has begun in the unseen realm. Real movement, unmistakable movement. You may begin to notice small signs, unexpected peace replacing old anxiety, conversations that arrive right on time, opportunities that appear without effort, clarity where confusion once lived, ideas that come out of nowhere yet feel divinely planted. These are not coincidences. These are indicators that the transfer is already in motion. Chosen one, you are not merely being blessed, you are being repositioned. You are not just stepping into increase, you are stepping into inheritance. You are not simply receiving what was lost, you are being prepared to steward what is greater. And heaven whispers this over you now. Get ready. What is coming will not resemble what was taken. It will come fuller, richer, stronger, and right on time. Chosen one, as we continue deeper into this divine message, I want you to pay close attention to what is happening inside you right now. That stirring in your spirit, that quiet trembling beneath your ribs, that sense that something invisible is shifting around you. It is not your imagination. It is the evidence that heaven is moving. A spiritual awakening is unfolding within you, and it is preparing you for what God is about to release into your life. For many seasons you have walked through life feeling like something was missing or unfinished, as if you were waiting for a moment that never seemed to arrive. You tried to explain it to yourself, even tried to silence it, but the restlessness never left. That is because it was never meant to leave. That longing, that tension, that inner pull toward more, was not a flaw. It was a prophecy. It was heaven's way of keeping you aligned with destiny, even when you didn't have clarity. Chosen one, you need to understand this truth. Everything you have gone through, every disappointment, every betrayal, every closed door, every silent season has been part of your spiritual preparation. What felt like suffering was actually shaping. What felt like loss was actually making room. What felt like delay was actually a divine pause meant to strengthen you for the magnitude of what is coming. You didn't survive by accident. You survived because heaven refused to let your purpose die, and now as you look back, you can see moments where you should have broken, but you didn't. Not because of your strength, but because God was covering you. There were seasons when the weight on your shoulders should have crushed you, but it didn't, because grace was sustaining you. There were days when you felt completely empty, yet somehow you kept going, because purpose was pulling you forward. You have been carried far more than you have realized. Chosen one, your survival is not your greatest testimony. Your transformation is because everything in you is shifting now: your perspective, your desires, your tolerances, your discernment. You are becoming someone new, someone stronger, someone wiser, someone spiritually activated, and that is why certain places no longer feel right, certain people no longer fit, certain habits no longer satisfy you. You are evolving and your environment is being forced to adjust to your growth. What you feel right now is the tension of transition. You are standing between who you were and who you are becoming. And this in-between space can feel strange, uncomfortable, lonely, disorienting. But it is also holy. It is the space where God reshapes identities, redefines purpose, and renews strength. It is the space where spiritual elevation begins long before earthly manifestation arrives. Chosen one, you are not stuck, you are being shifted. You are not losing control, you are being repositioned. You are not falling apart, you are being rebuilt. Heaven is reorganizing the details of your life in ways you cannot see yet. People who are not part of your next chapter are being quietly removed. Opportunities that no longer align with your calling are being closed off. Relationships that drain you are dissolving. Doors that lead nowhere are being sealed. Not because you failed, but because you outgrew them. Your spirit is ahead of your surroundings and everything else must catch up. And this is why God is calling you to release certain things, not to empty you, but to free you. He cannot pour new oil into a vessel still holding old residue. He cannot elevate you while you cling to the familiar. He cannot open new doors while your hands cling to ones He has already closed. This season requires surrender because surrender is the doorway to supernatural change. Chosen one, I want you to see something clearly. The pressure you have been feeling is not punishment. It is preparation. Breakthrough always begins with a tightening. Promotion always begins with discomfort. Expansion always begins with stretching. If things feel intense right now, it is because heaven is enlarging your capacity. God is strengthening you internally so that you can carry what He is about to release externally. There is a divine reason why your old ways of coping no longer work, why your old patterns of thinking feel too small, why your spirit refuses to settle for anything less than the fullness of what God has promised. Heaven is maturing you, heaven is sharpening you, heaven is preparing you to steward blessings, influence opportunities and breakthroughs that require spiritual depth. And hear this, anointed one, because it is the heartbeat of this entire season. You are closer to your breakthrough than you feel. The evidence may not be visible yet. The doors may not have opened yet. The answer may not have arrived yet, but spiritually, the shift has already taken place. When heaven moves first, earth has no choice but to follow. You are standing on the threshold of change, and the next step you take in faith, in surrender, in obedience, will open a path you didn't even know existed. Chosen one, as we continue into this next phase of the message, I need you to understand something deeply spiritual. You are stepping into a season where heaven is not just speaking to you. Heaven is shaping you. This part of your journey is about alignment, refinement, and divine instruction. What God begins to unveil from here is not merely inspiration. It is direction. It is strategy. It is the blueprint for your next chapter. For a long time you have been walking through life with fragments of clarity, moments where you felt God nudging you, whispering to you, pulling you forward, followed by stretches of silence that left you questioning yourself. But now, chosen one, the fog is lifting, the confusion is breaking. A supernatural clarity is coming upon you because heaven has decided it is time to reveal the next steps you couldn't see before. And understand this: when heaven gives clarity, it comes like a flood. Ideas begin to form without effort. Thoughts align. Patterns you once ignored suddenly make sense. What once felt random now feels intentional. You begin to see purpose in places where you previously saw only pain. That is because God is connecting the spiritual dots of your life. He is showing you that every setback carried a lesson, every delay carried protection, every disappointment carried redirection, and every quiet moment carried preparation. Chosen one. Heaven is reorganizing the landscape of your life. You may not be able to explain it yet, but you can feel it. Your interests are shifting, your desires are changing, your energy is becoming more focused. Things that once distracted you no longer have a hold on your spirit. Things that once pulled you away from purpose now fall flat. That is not you losing passion. It is God redirecting your passion toward what actually aligns with your destiny. This is what spiritual maturation looks like. You are no longer chasing noise. You are following the voice. You are no longer consumed with what is urgent. You are anchored in what is eternal, and because of that shift, heaven can now trust you with more revelation, more opportunity, more assignment, more spiritual authority. But hear me closely. Anointed one, with greater assignment comes greater separation. This is one of the most misunderstood parts of spiritual elevation, yet one of the most necessary. When God calls you higher, everything connected to you must undergo evaluation. Some relationships, habits, and environments were only designed to carry you through old seasons, not into new ones. You cannot take everyone with you into the place God is leading you. There will be people who suddenly distance themselves. Do not chase them. There will be connections that lose momentum without explanation. Do not revive them. There will be places where your spirit no longer rests easily. Do not force yourself to remain. Heaven is selectively pruning your life, not to isolate you, but to activate you. There are blessings assigned to your name that require a certain level of purity, focus, and quietness around you. There are doors God is preparing to open that cannot be walked through with hands full of yesterday's weights. There are opportunities coming that cannot mix with old patterns and old influences, and there are spiritual gifts inside you that cannot operate fully in environments built on distraction, doubt, or discomfort. Chosen. One part of your awakening is learning to recognize divine disconnection as protection, not rejection. This is maturity. This is elevation. This is spiritual intelligence. You are being refined so you can handle the weight of what is coming, because the blessing heaven is preparing for you is not a small one. It is strategic, intentional, and deeply connected to your purpose. And let me say this from a place of real experience. Some of the greatest breakthroughs of my life only came after God pulled me away from people I thought I needed. I cried over losses that were actually rescues. I fought for relationships that were only meant to be temporary. I tried to carry people who were never assigned to my destiny. But when God finally removed what was hindering me, I realized how much spiritual noise had been blocking my vision. Chosen one. That is exactly what God is doing for you now. You are entering a chapter where heaven refuses to let anything contaminate what it is building in you. You are becoming too spiritually valuable to be surrounded by anything that drains your energy or diminishes your calling. The separation you feel is not a sign of abandonment. It is a sign of elevation. And soon you will begin noticing something powerful. The right people will start appearing. People who speak life, not confusion. People who recognize your anointing without jealousy. People who push you forward instead of holding you back. People who value your spirit, not just your presence. These are divine connections, heaven-sent alignments, and they are coming because the next chapter of your life cannot be lived alone, chosen one. Heaven is preparing you for a path that requires strength, wisdom, clarity, and focus, and God is giving you all four, chosen one. As we step into this part of the message, you must understand something profoundly spiritual. Heaven never removes without intending to replace. Every shift you felt lately, every relationship that faded, every desire that changed, every door that closed, none of it was random. All of it was divine preparation, clearing the path for what God is getting ready to release into your life. You haven't been losing. You have been making room, chosen one. You are entering a season where God is not only guiding your steps but also guiding your supply. The same God who pruned you is now preparing to pour into you. The same God who allowed certain things to be stripped away is now positioning you to receive what you were not ready for before. What comes next isn't scarcity, confusion, or delay. What comes next is replenishment, restoration, and supernatural overflow. Heaven is preparing to give you something that will not only replace what was lost, but exceed it beyond measure. You may not realize it fully, but your spirit already senses this shift. Even when your mind tries to deny it, something deep within you recognizes that change is approaching. Real change, divine change, irreversible change. There is a quiet anticipation rising inside you, and knowing that cannot be shaken. That inner stirring is not anxiety, it is prophecy. It is your spirit responding to what heaven has already set in motion, chosen one. A supernatural transfer is heading toward your life, not a transfer earned by striving, not a transfer negotiated through human effort, not a transfer dependent on who approves of you. This is a transfer God initiated, God orchestrated, and God sealed with your name. A transfer of strength where you once felt drained. A transfer of clarity where confusion once clouded your vision. A transfer of resources where lack tried to control your decisions. A transfer of opportunities where doors seemed locked. A transfer of favor where you once encountered resistance. What is coming is not random blessing. It is inheritance. But here is the truth heaven wants you to understand. Before God releases something into your hands, He prepares your spirit to carry it. That is why the pressure intensified in your previous season. God wasn't punishing you. He was stretching your capacity. He was teaching you how to stand, how to discern, how to trust, how to surrender. You were praying for breakthrough, but breakthrough requires alignment. You were praying for blessings, but blessings require maturity. You were praying for more, but more requires transformation. So God allowed you to be emptied so that you would have room to be filled, and hear this clearly. Anointed ones, some of the things you mourned weren't losses, they were exchanges in progress. Heaven was not taking, heaven was trading. God was not closing doors to harm you, He was closing doors that blocked your assignment. The silence you endured wasn't abandonment, it was rebuilding. The delays you faced weren't denial, they were divine recalibration. All of it was preparation for the magnitude of what He is about to place in your hands, chosen one. You are entering a time when God will begin to reveal the hidden meaning behind your waiting. Questions that haunted you will start to make sense. Seasons that felt wasted will suddenly show their purpose. Pain that once felt pointless will reveal the strength it produced. You will see that what you thought was breaking you was actually building you. What you thought was slowing you down was aligning you. What you thought was rejection was protection. And as heaven begins to release what has been stored up for you, your mindset must shift. You cannot receive a divine transfer with the mentality of someone who has been merely surviving. You cannot walk into abundance while holding on to a spirit of scarcity. You cannot step into God's promise while expecting disappointment. Your faith must rise. Your expectation must rise. Your inner posture must shift from hoping to knowing, from waiting to preparing, from longing to claiming what God has ordained. Chosen one, you are not begging for scraps from heaven's table. You are stepping into your rightful inheritance. God has not forgotten the seeds you have sown, the prayers you have prayed, the tears you have cried, the sacrifices you have made. Heaven has recorded every moment of obedience, every act of faith, every silent surrender. And now the season of return is approaching, but with every divine transfer comes responsibility. God does not bless randomly, He blesses purposefully. The blessing that is coming is not just for comfort, it is for calling. You are being prepared not only to receive but to steward. The increase coming into your life is tied to your destiny. The resources, the opportunities, the connections, they are all part of a larger assignment God is entrusting you with. And for this your heart must be surrendered. You must be willing to let God lead you where comfort cannot. You must be willing to obey when it stretches you. You must be willing to step into new territory, even when you feel unqualified. God is not asking for perfection, He is asking for agreement. Chosen one, get ready. Something is shifting, something is rising, something holy is moving toward you, and it carries your name, your purpose, your future, and your inheritance. Chosen one, as we move into this next phase of the message, heaven is drawing your attention to a powerful truth. The shift happening in your life is not only external, it is deeply internal. The transformation you are sensing right now is not simply about circumstances changing. It is about you changing. Your spirit is expanding. Your capacity is increasing. Your discernment is sharpening, and this internal awakening is the very evidence that you are stepping into a divine upgrade. Chosen one, you have been praying for breakthrough, but breakthrough is not something that happens around you first. It happens within you. Before God enlarges your territory, He enlarges your inner foundation. Before He releases new blessings, He strengthens your character. Before He opens new doors, He prepares your heart to walk through them with wisdom, stability, and confidence. And that is exactly what this season has been doing to you. Preparing, refining, strengthening, stretching, awakening. You may not have realized it, but you have already begun to outgrow who you used to be. The things that once intimidated you no longer carry the same power. The wounds that once crippled you no longer define you. The people who once influenced your decisions no longer shape your identity. This is spiritual growth. This is the evidence of God's hand on your life. This is the sign that you are being elevated into a version of yourself that is capable of carrying your next assignment. But, hear this, anointed one, as you transform inwardly, your environment must shift accordingly. This is why certain things in your life have felt uncomfortable. This is why certain situations no longer sit right in your spirit. This is why certain relationships feel misaligned. Your spirit is telling you that you can no longer remain in spaces that match your past. You are being called higher, and everything attached to you must rise or fall away. Elevation always reveals misalignment, and as painful as it may feel, this revelation is a gift. God is protecting your destiny by exposing what cannot go with you. He is not removing people to leave you lonely. He is removing people who would sabotage the blessing waiting for you. He is not closing doors to punish you. He is closing doors that would distract you. He is not shifting your desires to confuse you. He is shifting them to align you. Chosen one, you are being refined so that you can step confidently into the divine transfer that is approaching your life. That is why God has been teaching you to trust Him in deeper ways, because what He is preparing to release into your hands requires steadfast faith, not wavering faith, not conditional faith, but anchored faith. This next season will require you to believe before you see to move, before you understand to obey, before you feel ready. But do not fear, because everything God asks you to step into He has already prepared you for, and this is where your story becomes powerful. Chosen one, you have survived what others did not see. You have endured storms that would have drowned someone without your strength. You have walked through seasons that required courage you didn't even know you possessed. You have fought battles in silence. Battles. No one applauded you for battles. No one helped you carry, yet here you are still standing, still seeking God, still holding on to hope. This resilience is not ordinary. This resilience is spiritual evidence that heaven has chosen you for something greater. The enemy tried to break you because he saw what was coming. A version of you that would be unstoppable. A version of you that would walk in authority. A version of you that would no longer respond to fear. A version of you that would take up space in places where you once shrank back. Chosen one, that version of you is emerging now, but with this emergence comes responsibility. The responsibility to guard your spirit, to pay attention to what you allow into your ears, your heart, your atmosphere. The next season of your life cannot be tainted by old patterns. Heaven is calling you to cultivate an inner environment of clarity, peace, and spiritual discipline. Because where God is taking you, you will need a strong mind and a steady soul. This is why God has been teaching you to rest in Him, not in your understanding. This is why He has been pulling you away from anxiety, rushing and striving. He is training you to recognize His voice, to follow His peace, to step into decisions that come from faith rather than fear. Chosen one, the divine transfer coming to your life is not a random blessing, it is an appointment, and like all heavenly appointments, it requires preparation. But do not misunderstand this. Preparation is not punishment, it is honor. It is the sign that God trusts you with more. He trusts you with influence. He trusts you with resources. He trusts you with authority. He trusts you with spiritual insight. You have asked God to use you. He is answering. You have asked God to elevate you. He is preparing you. You have asked God for breakthrough. He is building you into someone who can hold it, and now heaven whispers over your life. Do not fear the stretching. Do not resist the shifting. I am shaping you for the blessing I already released in the Spirit. Chosen one, you are closer than you think, not to the end of your journey, but to the beginning of a chapter that will redefine your entire story. Oh, chosen one, as we move into this next portion of the message, I need you to feel the weight of what heaven is doing around you. The spiritual atmosphere of your life is shifting. Something in the unseen realm has already begun to rearrange itself in your favor. You may not see the full picture yet, but you can sense it like a quiet vibration in your spirit, a gentle push towards something bigger, something holier, something undeniably divine. You are standing in a moment where heaven has started to intervene, not subtly, but intentionally. Chosen one, much of what you endured in the past season was not ordinary difficulty, it was a spiritual battle. It was warfare disguised as disappointment, resistance disguised as delay, discouragement disguised as fatigue. The enemy was not fighting you because you were weak. He was fighting because you were rising. He saw the shift in your spirit long before you recognized it. He knew you were awakening. He knew you were aligning. He knew you were stepping into a higher dimension of clarity and authority, and he feared what would happen once you realized who you truly are in God. The attacks you faced were not random. They were targeted. They were designed to distract you, to drain you, to disconnect you from your own identity. But the very fact that you are still here, still listening, still believing, still expecting, is the greatest proof that the enemy failed. What was meant to break you became the very thing that strengthened you. What was meant to silence you created a deeper hunger in your spirit. What was meant to derail you sharpened your focus. You survived the season that was engineered to destroy you, and now heaven has stepped in. Chosen one, hear this. With your whole spirit, the season of constant attack is ending. You are moving into a season of divine reinforcement. For the first time in a long time, you will feel the wind at your back. You will feel pressure lift. You will feel momentum return, not because your circumstances changed overnight, but because heaven has shifted its weight in your favor. God is stepping in where your strength ran out. Angels are being assigned to battles you no longer need to fight. The Spirit of God is preparing a path that no weapon, no opposition, no jealousy, no confusion can obstruct. You are stepping into a time where what once resisted you will begin to release you, and what once tried to contain you will have no power to hold you anymore. Chosen one, heaven is about to honor the battles you fought in silence. The nights you cried alone, the prayers you whispered beneath your breath, the wounds you carried without complaining. Heaven saw all of it. You walked through seasons where no one applauded your endurance, yet you endured anyway. You survived storms no one knew you were facing. You carried weight that would have crushed someone without your spiritual resilience, and because of that, God is releasing a wave of restoration that will touch every area where you experienced loss. This restoration will not be subtle or symbolic. It will be undeniable. Things that once confused you will suddenly make sense. Opportunities that once avoided you will now pursue you. Resources that once seemed out of reach will start flowing toward you. Doors that once shut in your face will begin to open without effort. This is not coincidence. This is compensation. God is not just restoring moments. He is restoring years. The years you lost in fear, in waiting, in heartbreak, in cycles that drained your spirit. God is returning them with interest. Your story is about to take a turn so sharp, so dramatic, that even you will look back and say, "Only God could have done this." But chosen one, understand, this God is not elevating you only for your benefit. He is elevating you because your life carries assignment. When God lifts you, He does so with purpose. The divine transfer coming into your life includes more than finances or opportunity. It includes influence, voice, leadership, wisdom, and responsibility. Heaven is preparing to reveal you, not to glorify you, but to position you, and because of that, God has been strengthening your inner world. He has been breaking fear off of you. He has been healing insecurities you thought you had to live with forever. He has been refining your character, purifying your motives, and awakening your vision. He did not let you collapse beneath pressure, because He knew this moment was coming, the moment where your purpose would stand tall and undeniable. Chosen one, heaven is whispering one clear command over your life: rise. Your time has come. Rise into confidence, rise into clarity, rise into identity, rise into purpose, rise into the future. Heaven has already prepared for you. Do not shrink, do not hesitate, do not question whether you are worthy. You are not rising because of your perfection. You are rising because of your calling. The same God who carried you through the valley is now positioning you on the mountain. The same God who held you in hidden seasons is now preparing to reveal you in due time. Chosen one. The shift you feel isn't imagination. It is invitation. Chosen one. As we continue deeper into this final movement of the message, I want you to understand that the shifting you feel right now is not emotional, not psychological, not circumstantial. It is spiritual. Something in the unseen realm has already been released on your behalf, and your spirit is detecting what your eyes cannot yet witness. This is why you feel a profound mixture of peace and expectancy. This is why your soul feels both steady and stirred. You are not imagining it, you are transitioning. Chosen one, heaven is not simply preparing to bless you. Heaven is preparing to reveal you. There is a version of you that has been hidden beneath years of endurance, hidden beneath survival mode, hidden beneath responsibilities, hidden beneath the weight of battles you never spoke about. But that version, the version God designed, refined, and protected, is now emerging with clarity and authority. You are stepping into the identity that heaven always saw within you, and understand this. When heaven reveals you, earth must respond. Situations begin to shift in your favor. Hearts begin to soften toward you. Opportunities begin to recognize your name. Rooms you once felt unworthy to enter begin to open because the grace of God goes before you. You are not stepping into this next season alone. You are stepping into it carried by the wind of divine timing. Chosen one, in this season God is restoring your confidence, not the false confidence built on achievement or validation, but spiritual confidence built on identity. You are learning to see yourself through heaven's perspective. You are learning to trust the voice of God over the voices of fear. You are learning to step boldly instead of waiting for permission. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. Because the truth is, heaven cannot release what belongs to you until you recognize who you are. And now, you finally do. But hear this, with spiritual maturity, with new identity comes new responsibility. God is calling you to operate with greater intentionality in your words, your decisions, your relationships, your habits, your time, and your focus. You are entering a season of purpose, and purpose requires discipline. Not the discipline of striving, but the discipline of surrender. Not the discipline of pressure, but the discipline of alignment. Chosen one, heaven is calling you to pay attention. There will be signs God places before you in this season that will guide your steps, confirm your direction, and warn you when you are drifting. Pay attention to the doors that open easily, they are assigned. Pay attention to the conversations that ignite your spirit, they are prophetic. Pay attention to the ideas that refuse to leave your mind, they are heaven sent. Pay attention to the restlessness you feel in certain environments, it is God telling you that the season there has ended. Your spirit already knows what your mind is still learning. You are evolving. The old structures can no longer contain the new version of you, and as you evolve, so will your surroundings. Some people will not understand the shift happening inside you. Some will misinterpret it as distance or pride. Others will resist your growth because it challenges their comfort. Let them. You are not responsible for their understanding. You are responsible for your obedience. Chosen one. Hear this clearly. Elevation requires separation, but separation is not abandonment, it is refinement. God is removing what will hinder your assignment. He is pruning your connections so that the right voices surround you. He is protecting your spirit so that you can remain sensitive to His leading. You may feel like you are walking alone at times, but you are not. Heaven is walking with you, and in the stillness of this new season, you will begin to sense something powerful, your authority increasing. Not authority to control people, but authority to command your atmosphere. Authority to silence fear. Authority to rebuke confusion. Authority to speak life and see results. Authority to declare and watch heaven respond. You have prayed from a place of survival long enough. Now God is teaching you to pray from a place of dominion. This is part of your divine transfer. A transfer of spiritual authority, a transfer of clarity, a transfer of identity, a transfer of boldness, a transfer of destiny, altering insight, and as this authority rises in you, so will opportunity. Doors you once thought were closed will reveal themselves as temporary barriers. Ideas you once felt unqualified to pursue will now feel attainable. Territories that once intimidated you will soon welcome you. Connections that once overlooked you will begin to recognize you. Chosen one, you are stepping into a season where your name will be mentioned in rooms you have never entered, where your presence will be requested before you even introduce yourself, where your influence will expand in ways that feel almost surreal, not by force, not by networking, but by divine orchestration, because when God breathes on your name, no one can ignore it. And now heaven speaks this final truth over you. Your story is about to shift from surviving to occupying, from waiting to receiving, from hoping to walking in fulfillment. Chosen one, rise into this season with open hands, open eyes, and an open heart. Heaven has already gone before you. Your new chapter is not approaching, it has begun. Chosen one, as we come to the end of this message, pause for a moment and feel what is happening inside you. This is not ordinary emotion. This is not passing inspiration. This is the echo of heaven still speaking, still moving, still confirming that you were meant to hear every word released today. You did not stumble into this moment. You were summoned into it, and because you responded, something has shifted in the unseen realm on your behalf. Chosen one, you are standing in a kairos moment, a divine appointment, a sacred intersection where your past, present, and promised future are aligning under the hand of God. The supernatural transfer has already begun. You may not see the full evidence yet, but the atmosphere around your life has changed. Doors that once resisted you are weakening, paths that once seemed hidden are unfolding. What was delayed is now accelerating. What was unclear is gaining definition. Heaven wants you to know this. You are ready. Ready for the elevation, ready for the release, ready for the steps you once feared taking. God has not brought you this far to leave you guessing. He has been preparing you quietly through the battles you fought alone, through the tears you never spoke of, through the nights when you questioned everything yet kept believing anyway. All of it was training, all of it was refining, all of it was the shaping of someone chosen and now anointed one. The question is no longer, can God do it? The question is, will you walk into what He has already set in motion? Heaven does not reward hesitation, it rewards obedience. Faith is not waiting for the perfect moment. Faith creates the moment, so step forward. Step out of fear. Step out of doubt. Step out of the version of yourself that no longer fits the destiny ahead of you. Chosen one, may the peace of God steady your heart. May His voice guide your decisions. May His favor surround your steps. May His presence accompany you into every new door. If this message awakens something in your spirit, you are invited to share it. Declare it in the comments, or subscribe so you never miss the next word heaven sends your way. Walk boldly now. You have heard God's message, and this sacred moment is only the beginning of what He is about to unfold in your life.